I don't know. I don't know who's gonna really listen to this. In any case, why should anybody listen? Since just a worthless nobody. But this I have to get off my chest. Looking at things, the way they are, the way the government is going. But you would take the time to just endure this nobody and just listen to this message. What is lacking in Washington is common sense. What lacking in Washington is those people that were voted in office who are willing to listen to the American people and not special interest groups. Because this government is just all screwed up. You got Obama pushing his Obamacare, which is bad for the country. And he's done even illegal means to get it passed. And you got the scandals of like Benghazi and Fast and Furious. Like I said, I'm nothing special. I'm just a nobody. And taking it for what it's worth. But if I was president of the United States, if I was president, I would listen to the will of the people. There's so many times you got politicians who don't even bother to listen to the voice of the people. This government is supposed to be with the people, by the people, for the people. But the liberals, the vulture culture people as I like to call them, don't give regards to the Constitution. In fact, people like Obama defecate upon the Constitution. They say to hell with the Constitution. And these were the people that our forefathers warned us about. There's too much partisanship. There's too much racism and vain politics, catering to special interest groups. In fact, the government is violating the First Amendment of free speech, also freedom of religion. And the vulture culture people have slipped in, well, separation of church and state is not even in the Constitution. The Constitution clearly states that the government shall not endorse nor prohibit the practice of religion. But so many times, the rights of Christians are violated, and favoritism is shown unto the Muslims. And that's a tragedy. And there's even the push for Sharia law. Sharia law has no business being in the United States. Because our country was founded on the Bible and our Christian faith. It was founded on the Constitution. Yes, you have a right to not to believe in God, but don't violate the rights of those who do believe in God. And there's a severe lack of common sense in the government, because there's so much horse sense, and it's not what you think it means. Because the meaning of horse sense is found in Psalm 32:9. Be not as the horse or the mule, which has no understanding. Because despite what's taken to mean, horse sense really means to have no understanding at all. Because I know the vulture culture people would shoot me down to hell. Because I'm conservative, I'm pro-life, I'm pro-family, anti-sodomy. Of course, I'm going to surely be shot down by the sodomites, but I don't care. Right is wrong is wrong. And Hollywood is clearly pushing the vulture culture agenda, pushing liberalism. And there's a lack of common sense in the government. A severe lack of common sense. Because you got Obama talking about raising the debt ceiling. And the common sense thing to do is to cut spending. Cut the unnecessary spending. Cut Planned Parenthood. Cut all these ridiculous things that shouldn't even be funded by the government. Waste of money. Common sense thing is to cut spending, not raise the debt ceiling. And of course, the liberals, the vulture culture people are raising taxes and putting the burden on us. And they're pushing big government. But if I was president of the United States, I would cut unnecessary spending, reduce taxes, and do what I can to cut the debt, to reduce the debt, because it's already at the time of this recording is at $17 trillion. Now that's ridiculous. That's asinine. To have all this unnecessary spending and supporting agendas, things that are morally wrong, like infanticide. But like I said, if I was president, I would cut the spending. I would listen to what the American people would say, and that's what the representatives, the Congress, the House of Representatives, the Senate, that's what they're for, to listen to the American people and not serve these special agendas. I'm sorry, I'm just angry about the way it is. Special interest groups, they're there. The people in Congress, the people in the House, the people in the Senate are representatives. They're supposed to listen to what their representatives say. Listen to the American people, and not special interest groups. Because there's too much to special interest groups, and funding things that the government has no business funding. Because right now they're more worried about political correctness. And you got Obama giving weapons to the Muslim Brotherhood and standing against Israel. That's it. That's one of his big mistakes right there. Obama standing with the enemies of Israel. And a lot of people are going to hate what I say, but I don't care. Because God says in his word to Abraham, the promise he made to the Abraham and the children of Israel, I will bless them that bless thee, and damn them that damn thee, and through thee all the families of the world shall be blessed. It's in the Bible, it's in Genesis. And I am pro-Israel. And if I was president, I would back Israel 100% and beyond. Because the Jews are God's chosen people. But the Muslim Brotherhood, they are enemies of Israel. They are enemies of America. And Obama has the gall to send weapons to fund our very enemies. And he doesn't give a care about the American people. He doesn't give a care about common sense. There's just too much bull dung going on in the government. Not listening to the will of the American people. Not protecting our people. Look at Benghazi. An order was given to stand down, and 4 people died as a result. This happened on my 51st birthday last year. Because I was born in September 11th, 1961, and I turned 40 when the moon god worshippers, when the terrorists attacked the World Trade Center. 2 planes. So there's no way I could ever forget that. And I never will. And I choose never to forget. I'm an American. I'm proud to be an American. But I hate the direction this country is going. Where's the common sense? Where's listening to the will of the people? Do the politicians in Washington even care about the will of the people? Care about our needs? Care about the welfare? Apparently not. But yesterday, rather 2 nights ago, Senator Ted Cruz, God bless him, he had the courage to stand for 21 and a half hours, so just over 21 hours, in a filibuster in an effort to defund Obamacare. Obamacare is bad for business and job destroying, and there are less full-time hours now than there are part-time because of Obamacare, because a lot of businesses can't afford Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act, take off, give me a break. It's not affordable now, it's more expensive. It is more a burden on we the American people. A lot of us cannot afford it. A lot of us are struggling. A lot of us are struggling even to find jobs. And there's some who honestly need help who are not getting the help. And those who honestly need food stamps can't get them because of red tape, and those that don't deserve it somehow getting them. How sick is that? How wrong is that? It makes me so angry the way the government is going. But like I said, if I was president, I have no plans of running, because after all, I am a nobody, and who's going to listen anyhow? But if I was president, I would listen to the American people. I would listen to wise counsel. And the government needs to be smaller, not bigger. Because those in office, even the President of the United States, are supposed to be the servants of the people, to govern them by serving them. We're not to be kings. We're not to be emperors. A president is not supposed to be king or emperor or tyrant. They're supposed to look out for the best interests of the people and serve them, not be masters over them. And there are too many people, too many politicians today, more concerned about political correctness, who are more concerned about special interest groups than they are the will of the people. And the Constitution was written against tyrants like them. Because we need more people in office who are willing to listen and to serve the American people, not rule over them. Because we have too many of that in Washington right now. Like Obama. Obama is bad for this country. And being president means serving the people who elected him. It means knowing what to do, knowing the right thing to do, and when to do it. Doesn't mean absolute power. And it doesn't mean pushing one's agenda around the Constitution and violating the Constitution to do it. A president is supposed to defend the Constitution and to conform to our Constitution. Not defecate upon it, not rip it to shreds. That's being a communist. That is being a dictator. And we don't need dictators. That's why we came to this country in the first place. That's why our forefathers came to the country in the first place. To flee dictatorship. So we have the freedom of religion. We have freedom, right of liberty and pursuit of happiness. What happened to politicians who honestly care about the American people and about what the American people think? And unfortunately, you got so many politicians today who are so partisan it's pitiful. And when they can't have an honest debate, they rely on personal attacks. Cause racist and rebels and all that junk. That means they prove themselves unworthy of being elected to whatever position they're in. As we need people in office today who will defend the Constitution, who will defend the rights of the people, who will defend every single one of the amendments of the Constitution. The freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, and everything that is in the Constitution. And gun control, they're going by it all wrong. They want to take the guns from the law-abiding citizens instead of taking them away from the criminals. And that's wrong. Like an old American proverb says, if guns were outlawed, only outlaws would have guns. And that is what's happening. Well, the Obama and the vulture culture people pushing to violate the Second Amendment rights of honest American citizens, honest law-abiding citizens, and that's wrong. That is so damnably wrong. Because we need someone, we need a person as president and those elected to the Congress and the Senate and the House of Representatives who will defend the constitutional rights of every law-abiding American citizen and not violate them. Instead of going after the law-abiding citizens, they ought to go after the lawbreakers. There's so much garbage going on. Whatever happened to honesty, integrity? Whatever happened to common sense? That is so lacking in Washington today. That is so lacking in our president today. And we need a president with a backbone and guts to stand up for the Constitution, will stand up for the rights of every American citizen. But like I said, if I was president, I would do my best to defend the Constitution, to defend the rights of every law-abiding American citizen, and to do what's right for the country. And if I introduce a legislation, then if the House and or the Senate votes against it, then I have to abide by the will of the American people. I have to abide by the Constitution. And that's the way a president should be. A president should love America and should love Americans and American freedom more than themselves, no, more than their party, more than special interest groups. We need more people who will defend the Constitution, who will defend the rights of all American citizens, law-abiding American citizens, who is non-partisan. We don't need partisanship. We need leaders who are non-partisan, practically. Who don't go by Republican or Democrat, who go by American, who will defend freedom, who will defend the Constitution and the rights of all American citizens, no matter what race, no matter what color, because God created us equally. Because even the Bill of Rights said that all men are created equal. It doesn't say all white men or all black men or all Hispanic or all men. It says all men means all men, no matter what race or what color. if I should become president, then I would defend the Constitution. Cut the debt, cut the spending, and shrink the government to the size that it should be. Because we need smaller government, not larger government. And we need leaders who will listen to the will of the American people, not special interest groups, and who will use common sense, who have the common sense to stand up for the right thing, and who will totally abide by the Constitution of the United States, which our forefathers set up, who will fight against tyranny, who will fight for the rights of all Americans, who will fight for protection of the American people, and who will not bow to special interest groups. Now, that was if I was president, and that's not going to happen. Since I am a nobody, practically, just a worthless nobody, but I know what's right, or I seek to know what's right. And we need a president who will listen to the American people, who will abide by the Constitution and the laws and not circumvent them, not to twist them to their twisted beliefs, who are honest, God-fearing American patriots. And that's what we need in the government today. Now, if I anger some people, I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. But we need a president who will listen to the will of the American people, who will disregard political correctness, who will disregard partisanship, who will disregard special interest groups, who will stand up for what is right in the eyes of God. That's the kind of president we need. Now, personally, I don't have that gift of leadership. So even if I desire to be president, that won't happen because I don't have that gift of leadership. Because being president, being a leader in anything, means knowing the right thing to do and knowing when to do it, and to serve the best interests of the group or a company or even a nation. Now, if I had that gift of leadership, I would love to run for president and fight for the will of the American people. We'll fight for the Constitution. We'll fight for the family. We'll fight for life and for the right to worship God. And I pray that God would bring up somebody who shares what I've been talking about, who shares the belief of what I'm talking about. Unfortunately for me, I don't have that gift. But after all, I'm just a nobody. I'm just a worthless nobody. But I have something to say, and whether people listen or not, that's their choice. And I don't know who really listened to it, but I pray that those that listen would listen with their hearts, would love this country, to fight for it. Because that's what we need in the government today. That's the kind of president we need that I've been talking about. And if by some miracle that I have to run for president and somehow get elected, then I would do the things I say. I want to defend the rights of the American people, defend life, defend the family, defend the Constitution, to make people proud to say, I'm proud to be an American. God grant us a president like that. Because I don't care if he's a Republican or Democrat, Tea Party or whatever. They got to care about the Constitution. They've got to care about the American people. You got to care about freedom and all the amendments of the Constitution. Pray God would send somebody like that. Thank you for your time.